Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing this morning? Okay, great. Peter, wherever you are, can see a little bit better from this vantage point. Thank you so much for inviting me to come to the AISA conference this year. This is the first time I've attended an AISA conference, and it's been delightful to walk in and meet so many of you I've known over the years, so really pleased to be here. My name is Jane Larsson. I'm the Executive Director of the Council of International Schools. You may know us as CIS, or you may know us as an international accreditation organization. You may know us as a recruiter through Leadership Search or our London Educator Recruitment Fair. You may know us because our university college fairs have come to your school to help connect university admission staff with your students and your counselors. So in our capacity, you may say, why am I here? School accreditation, child protection. Why did Peter ask me to come and specifically address this topic? Well, of course, school accreditation is one of the core services of CIS. And ultimately, child protection, safety, and well-being is at the heart of what we do when we go in to ensure that schools are doing what they've made a commitment to do, and that is to look after the children in their care. So, of course, school accreditation is really the lever by which your schools invite your peers to come in from the outside and really see, are you guaranteeing the promises that you've made to your community to do what it is you say you intend to do as educators in your schools? In essence, that's the role of school accreditation. So child protection, of course, is one of the, I guess frequently I hear my colleagues who are going into the schools talk about it as a non-negotiable. If a school is failing to protect children, it cannot be accredited. The Child Protection Symposium is addressing school accreditation, and specifically I'm leading a session together with my colleagues from other accreditation agencies. New England Association of Schools and Colleges, Peter Mott is here. Jackie Gilbert and Kelly Christian are here from Middle States Association. I know many of your schools work with their organizations as well. What do we have in common? We all joined a year ago a task force that was formed, the International Task Force on Child Protection. There were a number of events that happened almost a year ago that shocked and saddened us all. Child protection is not new. Child abuse is not new. Child protection is not new either. But because of these events, because they became very personal for many of us, it was a catalyst for action that formed an international task force that looked very seriously and said, how could this have happened? How could people whom we know abuse children and we didn't even recognize it? I asked myself those questions. I was shocked, I was sad, I cried. There were a variety, I didn't know really how to think about it. So when a number of people said we have to do something else, we have to take this further, there was a group of us that stood up and volunteered. That group today is over 90 people of volunteers all around the world. People from your schools. There are a number of you in this audience who are part of the volunteers on the task force. And of course, we're standing on the shoulders of the work that AISA has done with the child protection policies and procedures, the handbook that AISA put together under the guidance of Dennis Larkin and Lois Engelbrecht. I know if you'd like to stand up, I'd like to recognize you because I know people here in AISA, many of them know you, but there are people here who don't. So if you wouldn't mind, please, I'd really appreciate it. Because Dennis has been contacting all of us in accreditation for a number of years saying, you know, these standards, they just don't go far enough. You know, what are we doing to really ensure that they are effective? So we said, all right, let's form this international task force, and there's 3 working committees. And one of them is a committee that we call the School Evaluation Committee. Because there are many different forms of external quality assurance for schools. Accreditation is one of them. Inspection is another. There are a number of organizations run nationally by countries that go in and look at regulatory controls as well. Our aim is to try to reach out and work with all of them, and hopefully all of them will adopt enhanced standards that will universally make sure that child protection is happening in our schools. So through the work of the task force, that specific committee developed a series of questions, 24 essential questions that school educators need to ask themselves to say, are we doing an effective job protecting the students in our care? And today and tomorrow, in the session that I'll be leading together with Peter and Jackie and Kelly, we're going to be taking educators through examination of those questions to look at your own schools and say, how effective are we, and help us develop some practices and indicators that'll help us see if in fact they're really working. So we're looking forward to welcoming a number of you into that session to help us out in this task. I'm just going to close by adding a couple of words about the other two committees of the International Task Force. There is a recruitment committee. The School Recruitment Committee is composed of representatives from 12 different recruiting agencies, whom many of your schools are using, and also school educators. And then there's a third committee, which is School Policy and Resource Committee. That's the largest working group because it has a big job, which is looking at practices overall within schools, and particularly resources, training, all sorts of different areas of guidance that you need as educators in areas where, you know, we're not experts as educators. So through that three-pronged approach, those working committees are feeding information ultimately to the School Evaluation Committee to say, make sure that those new standards really do cover these areas and help us be as effective as we possibly can. So it's been a pleasure for me over the last year now to work with such a team of diverse professionals from business, from education, all working together, also with law enforcement to say, how can we do a better job? We learned a lot from the work being done here in the AISA region, and now we're trying to really take it even further, and we hope with all of your help that we'll be successful in our efforts. Thank you.